ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्लोका नंबर 50, सेकंड चैप्टर। अथ द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ताः पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्। So from the 40th shloka, Bhagavan has started talking about the topic of Karma Yoga. Earlier he talked about this Jnana Yoga, the sadhana meant for Jnanam, or the sadhanam, the means in the form of knowledge which leads a person to moksha. And after talking about the Jnana Yoga, this Karma Yoga topic is started. And the word Karma Yoga can be simply explained by a sentence. Proper action with proper attitude is Karma Yoga. So karma conveys the idea of proper action and yoga conveys the idea of proper attitude. So proper action with proper attitude is Karma Yoga. And Bhagavan glorified this sadhana of Karma Yoga, and then this Karma Yoga being the action with proper attitude, and attitude is always based on some understanding. So Bhagavan gave the understanding which forms the basis for attitude. And that understanding was given in the 47th shloka, that you have choice over the action, you do not have choice over the result. And therefore, may you not have the motivation for your action in the form of material benefit, specific material benefit. Means may you not get motivated by merely material benefit of the action. Because if you are dependent upon that, that material result depends upon so many factors. You cannot foresee all the factors, and even if you foresee, even if you see, even if you know, many of them you cannot control. Therefore, the result of the action is not in your hand, and it has got so many hidden factors as their dependent and as these depending factors. And therefore, it is better you learn to do this action with proper motivation. And what is the proper motivation for action? Inner growth. So person understands that the goal of life is growing. People ask this question, what is the goal of life? The goal of life is to grow to your maximum level. Bringing out your potential to the maximum, that is the purpose of life. And while growing, you contribute, because in contribution there is growth. And this growth, in the case of plants and animals, it is only physical. Their purpose of life is to grow to their maximum level possible. But for human being, it is not merely physical growth, emotional growth also, intellectual growth also. And emotional growth means this emotional maturity, not getting carried away by the emotions, that is called emotional growth. And also emotional growth involves my readiness to share, expansion of the mind, means I do not look upon every situation from selfish angle. Whatever happens to others, I don't care, I should get benefit. That is the narrow-mindedness. So Karma Yoga helps you to grow emotionally, means it helps you to grow big in your mind. Means you have got expansion of the mind. And also emotional growth means you have universal love. Means you are sharing you are capable of loving all, irrespective of their characteristics. You may interact in a particular way. Certain people you may find difficult to interact in a particular area. So you can have your boundaries. But you accept all, you care for all, you can pray for all. That is the sign of universal love. And that is emotional growth. Intellectual growth is I ask fundamental questions related to myself, related to my life. Who am I? What is the truth of this world? Who has created this world? So, getting the answer to these fundamental questions can be considered to be intellectual growth, which can also be termed as spiritual growth. Intellectual growth is of two types. The growth of your intelligence in the area of this material science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, in all of them, in different fields, your intellect is capable of that rational thinking. Many people lack this, how to think rationally. So they will be arguing in a very haphazard manner because intellectual discipline is not there. So intellectual growth means you are able to think systematically. And that is in the material world, in the material science. And intellectual growth has another aspect, and that is your intellect is capable of exploring the fundamental questions with the help of Shastra. And that intellectual growth is included in the purpose of life. So what is the purpose of life? Emotional, intellectual, and if we separate spiritual growth, that is the purpose of life. And the spiritual growth will be culminating in the self-discovery. Discovering yourself to be limitless. That is the purpose of life. So many people have this, Swamiji, I am in search of purpose of life. I don't know what is the goal of life. Which is Swamiji used to say, this person is already 75 and is asking this question, what is the goal of life? It means he lived whole life 75 years without knowing the goal of life. It's like a person is driving and you ask, where are you going? I don't know. So how absurd it sounds. Sometimes you can have just like the driving, but generally you know where you want to go. But this person doesn't know what is the goal of life. Whereas in Karma Yoga, you have got this clarity. And based on that clarity, you have value for inner growth. And because of that value for inner growth, your attitude to the karma will be the attitude of worshipping the Lord for inner growth. So you do karma as a worship to the Lord for inner growth. And while receiving the result, your attitude is that it is a prasada, therefore there is no reaction. Thus Karma Yoga, its attitude and the basis in the form of understanding behind the attitude, all those topics were described. And in the 50th shloka, Karma Yoga was described as Karmasu Kaushalam. Earlier definition was Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This balanced mind, this sameness of the mind is called yoga. And we had seen sameness is in terms of attitude. Having the same attitude towards all types of action. Whether I like it or I don't like it. My attitude towards the action is the same. What is the attitude? Every action is the means for worshipping the Lord. Some action I like, some action I don't like. But both of them are the means for worshipping the Lord. So attitude is the same. While receiving the result, attitude is the same. Whether I like the result, I don't like the result. I call all of them as prasada. And thus, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, and now Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. This skillfulness with reference to action is yoga. And in the last class we saw that generally this particular shloka is wrongly translated. That dexterity, expertise in action is yoga. Means if you are doing karma, do it very well. Do it very efficiently. That is called karma yoga. That is a wrong understanding of karma yoga. So anybody does his job very efficiently, he may not be karma yogi. Like a thief, he does his job very well. The terrorists, they do their job very well. These the 9/11, they did so efficiently. They finished the towers. So much planning was there. So our train doesn't reach on time. They could do everything in planning everything very well. They have to plan petrol, everything they planned. So they did efficiently. But shall we call them karma yogi? No. So efficiency in action is not karma yoga. Otherwise, these people who are expert in doing their wrong jobs, the wrong things they are doing but very efficiently doing, then they will be karma yogi. But that is not Bhagavan's vision. Karma yogi may not be efficient in the beginning. Afterwards, he also will be efficient. But efficiency does not make him karma yogi. So efficiency here is not the meaning of kaushala. Skillfulness in the sense that binding karma is converted into liberating, freeing karma. That is the skill this karma yoga is. So the skill of this karma yoga is converting the binding karma into the moksha friendly karma. So karma generally binds the person, keeps the person in samsara by creating anxiety, by creating punya papa, by creating reactions. So karma generally binds. So generally binding karma are now converted into freeing karma. The karma is helping the person to get moksha. And therefore this karma yoga is called skill. Converting binding action into freeing action. That is the skill of karma yoga. Then in the 51st shloka, this connection between the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is given. Here we had seen, when a person follows the life of Karma Yoga, what is the benefit? He gets the Chitta Shuddhi, he gets the purity of the mind. Now what do we mean by purity of the mind? Two things are there. One is the likes and dislikes which are governing my life, controlling my life. Those likes and dislikes are diluted. They become weaker and weaker. They don't control me as a person. Otherwise what happens? You see, generally our likes and dislikes, they control our life. Certain thing is to be done, but we don't do. Why? Because I don't like it. Certain thing is not to be done, but still I do. Why? Because I like it. So, right thing we don't do, because most of the right things we don't like. Wrong thing we do because we like them. So generally my life is controlled by my likes and dislikes. Generally healthy food people don't like. Not very tasty. Generally. Nowadays they are trying to make healthy food also tasty. But generally what is supposed to be eaten we don't like. And what is prohibited by the doctor, that only we eat. Why? Because we like it. So our life is controlled by our likes and dislikes. We do not say that likes and dislikes themselves are not good. They are evil. We don't say that. Likes and dislikes, they themselves are okay. But they should not control my sense of duty, sense of appropriateness. If I like coffee and taking coffee is not against my health or not against this particular system where I am in, then no problem. I can have coffee, I can have tea. But for the sake of coffee, I have to bribe somebody, I have to hide from somebody, I have to take away somebody's share, I have to deviate from my duty. Then my raga for coffee is a problem, not a welcome thing. So if ragadveshas are not deviating you from your duty, let them be there. If they don't come in your way to do what is to be done, they do not push you to do something which is not to be done, then ragadvesha, let them be there. Ragadvesha means likes and dislikes. You don't like someone, but you have to interact with that person. So your dislike for the person doesn't come in your way to interact with the person, then your dislike is okay. Even though it is finally one has to outgrow all that. But if it is not controlling, it is okay. Initially we are not so particular that all your likes and dislikes should totally go away. Let them be there, but they should not control you. But generally they control. Whereas Karma Yoga helps you to make this Raga Dvesha less powerful so that they will not control you. And how Karma Yoga makes the Raga Dvesha diluted? The mechanism is this. Generally, we decide our karma based on Raga Dveshas. I do what I like. People say that I do what I like. So my course of action is decided by my likes and dislikes. And my response to the result is also decided by my likes and dislikes. And therefore what happens? Likes and dislikes become stronger and stronger, stronger and stronger. In our life we have seen this. Whomsoever you give importance while taking decision, that person becomes more and more important in your house, in your life, in any company. Any person who is all the time consulted for any decision, that person will feel important, he will become stronger. So now what is happening? For choosing the action, you are consulting your ragadveshas. So ragadvesha feel, we are the most powerful people. And now in Karma Yoga, what you are doing? You are not consulting ragadveshas. You are going by your sense of duty. So your raga will say, do this. But your sense of duty say, no, this is not the time for doing this. Your dvesha will say, don't do this. But your sense of duty say, no, it is to be done. So you do it. Therefore what happens? The ragadveshas who were powerful in giving consultation for your action, they are diluted. In company, when they want this person to go away, you know what they do? They don't give them work. When they don't give them work, a person understands that now I should quit. So similarly, ragadveshas, they are not consulted while choosing the action, therefore they become diluted, very weak, keep quiet, diluted. And while result when it comes, your response is generally governed by ragadveshas, likes and dislikes. If something happens which you like, you are elated. Something happens which you don't like, you feel depressed. So your ragadveshas were governing your reaction. Now in Karma Yoga, you like it, still it is a prasada. If something happens, the result is something which you don't like, still it is prasada. Therefore your ragadveshas are not coming into the picture in deciding your response to the result. And therefore what happens? Ragadveshas are slowly becoming less and less functional. And therefore what happens? Your likes and dislikes become weaker, diluted, and thereby you live the life of appropriateness. Thus, one aspect of Chitta Shuddhi, purity of the mind, means the control of ragadvesha on you is reduced. And second thing we talk based on the Shastra, purely based on Shastra, is when a person follows the life of Karma Yoga, then his durita, his papa karma is reduced. And durita is considered to be the impurity, therefore that impurity also is reduced. And we put it positively that Karma Yoga helps you earn the grace of Ishvara, because of which you will have this Guru Prapti, Shastra Prapti, Jnana Prapti. And therefore this Karma Yoga is said to be bringing this Chitta Shuddhi in terms of reduction of ragadveshas, in terms of reduction of durita. And that Karma Yoga is presented here with these stages it leads to. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. A person who is buddhi yuktaha, the person who is endowed with proper attitude, karmajam phalam tyaktva, having given up the concern for material benefit, means the person when he is doing the action, his more focus is on inner growth than the material benefit. That is said here karmajam phalam tyaktva. The result born of action, the material benefit of action, he is not concerned about. So here phalam tyaktva means the concern for the result he gives up. And because of that, what happens? He becomes more and more pure mentally. Because of that, he will have jignasa. People ask this question, Swamiji, what is the sign of getting a sign of mental purity? How do I know that my mind is pure? Body, you can see your body is pure or not. It is smelling or not, or some dirt is there or not, you can make out. But what about this mental purity? How do you know your mind is becoming purer and purer? One sign is, more pure that your mind is, purer your mind is, more quiet it would be. So purity generally brings quietness of the mind. Because when ragadveshas are not there, which is called purity, then you will have less anxiety. When you are not particular about the material result, then you will not be anxious. As we have seen the example, when I am playing the game for physical exercise, tennis I am playing for physical exercise, then whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter. Why? Because I am not playing for losing or winning. Even though I play it well to win, but the winning or losing is not my concern. So similarly, this Karma Yoga brings Chitta Shuddhi, which will be indicated by the composure of the mind. And because of the composure of the mind, person will have harmonious life with others. When you are stressed, then you will make others stressed. The stressed person makes others stressed. You can see in your own life, when you are stressed, then people around also somehow they get stressed. If you are relatively relaxed, then the people around also will be relatively relaxed. So Karma Yoga brings the harmonious life. And one sign of Karma Yoga or Chitta Shuddhi is that person will have this desire to know the self, desire to know the truth of everything. In Brihadaranyaka it is said, Yagnena Danena Tapasa Brahmanaha Vividishanti. So a person will have desire to know. When your mind is pure, relatively calm, then these fundamental questions will arise. Because otherwise you are busy with solving these topical problems. You are so stressed that these fundamental questions do not come to your mind. But when this Chitta Shuddhi is there, this Jignasa will come. So one sign of purity of your mind is you will have more and more interest in the study of Shastra. More and more interest in knowing the truth. All these topics, who am I, what is God, what is the truth of this world, they will interest you. Earlier they were not of any interest for you. Now there will be interest. And this Karma Yoga will lead to this Vividisha, means desire to know, and because of desire to know, that person will go to Guru, Shastra, and he becomes Manishinaha. That person becomes wise person. And because of this wisdom, Janma Bandha Vinirmuktaha, the person becomes free from the bondage of birth and death. And this birth and death stand for samsara. Samsara means bondage. Bondage means I feel uncomfortable with myself. I am not acceptable to myself. That is samsara. And this person becomes free from that. And that is indicated by the expression Janma Bandha Vinirmuktaha. Means he becomes free even when he is alive. Jivan Muktaha. This is the greatness of Vedanta. That Vedanta talks about freedom, moksha here only. Cash transaction. Not that after you go to heaven, there you will get moksha. Here itself, here and now. In all other religion they say, when you lead this life, then you will go to heaven. Whereas we say here, now in this life itself you can get freedom. You don't have to wait for going to some place and then getting moksha. So Janma Bandha Vinirmuktaha. And after the fall of the body also, Anamayam Padam. He attains this state, the abode, which is free from all problems, free from all limitations, otherwise called Videha Mukti, he attains. Thus, Karma Yoga finally leads the person to Jivan Mukti, freedom while living, and Videha Mukti, freedom even after the fall of the body. That was presented in the 51st sloka. Now in the next two slokas, this 51st sloka itself is elaborated. So what are the stages Karma Yogi goes through before he attains this self-knowledge and moksha? So 52nd sloka. Yada te moha kalilam बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यति तदा गन्तासि निर्वेदम् श्रोतव्यस्य श्रुतस्य च. So Bhagavan says, when you lead the life of Karma Yoga well, then first thing happens is Moha Kalilam Buddhihi Vyatitarishyati. Buddhi, your mind, Vyatitarishyati means will go beyond, will become free from Moha Kalilam, the mist of delusion. You know, in this winter and all, there is a mist so that things are covered. Fog. So every buddhi is generally covered by some moha, some delusion. And here delusion initially in the form of Shobhana Adhyasa, Ashobhana Adhyasa. What do we mean by that? Shobhana Adhyasa means considering an object, a person or a situation to be the source of happiness, the source of fulfillment. That is called Shobhana Adhyasa. Generally people have this. If I get this person in my life, I am fulfilled. If I get this setup, this job or this particular residence, this particular building for stay, my life is fulfilled. Most of the people will have this idea, either person or some object or some situation, that this person will make my life fulfilled. That is called moha. Nobody can make your life fulfilled. No object can make your life fulfilled. No situation, no setup can make your life fulfilled. You have tried it several years. So whatever may be your age, you must have tried. Some years ago, you might have thought that once my graduation is over, everything is okay, or I get the job, then nothing, Swamiji. Every time we say something, Swamiji, once this is done, then no problem. People say, Swamiji, once my son gets married, Swamiji, afterward, no problem, they will say. No problem, they will say. And they understand that son got married is not the end of the problem, it's the beginning of another problem. So people think like this, like a horizon. You always think that once I reach there, then goal is achieved, destination is achieved. However much you run, the horizon keeps receding. So similarly here, person thinks that this object, person, situation will make me happy, make me fulfilled, Swamiji. And that is called here moha. And another thing also, that person makes me unhappy. That setup is responsible for my being unhappy. That also is adhyasa, ashobhana adhyasa. We generally think, Swamiji, I am suffering in my life because of my father. There are people who say like this, Swamiji, I am suffering because my father did not give me money for education, so I could not study further and I had to take up a job, so therefore I am suffering. Something or the other. We think, Swamiji, I am so much anxiety in my life because my parents did not bring me up properly. Something. We always find some scapegoat for our unhappiness. We don't own up the responsibility that my attitude was not proper in taking the situation. So I consider something to be source of my unhappiness. That also is moha. And when you lead the life of Karma Yoga, the first benefit is you stop blaming the world for your problem. People say this is very common, you must have heard, Swamiji, this fellow makes me angry. You must have heard. The husband and wife, Swamiji, husband says, Swamiji, she makes me angry. Means I am okay, I don't get angry, but she makes me angry. Swamiji, she makes me depressed, or he makes me depressed. Nobody can make you. Swamiji, he alone makes me so disturbed. It is a wrong statement. Nobody can disturb you without your permission. Somebody disturbs you because you give the strength to that person to disturb you. The key to make you dance, no, is given by you to that other person. You say, no, Swamiji, that person makes me dance. You have given the key how to make you dance. Nobody can control you. Nobody can disturb you unless you cooperate. And therefore, first thing Karma Yogi attains is this, that no more blame game. I don't blame the world for my problem. I don't blame myself also. I don't blame. It is not that you don't blame the world, you blame yourself. That is also not correct. Don't blame the world, don't blame yourself. Take the responsibility that I have contributed to this situation by my wrong attitude, but it can be corrected. There is no point in blaming oneself and getting stuck with self-criticism. That is not a healthy way of leading life. You keep criticizing your Swamiji, I don't criticize anybody, I criticize myself. You think you are very great. It's not great. It's unhealthy. So don't blame the world, don't blame yourself. Focus on where correction is required. Focus on what is to be done, what is to be corrected. So you, Moha Kalilam, you become free. When you lead the life of Karma Yoga, your mind is pure and therefore it does not blame others. So Moha Kalilam Vyatitarishyati means it does not find anything to be the source of happiness, anything to be the source of unhappiness. Puja Swami used to say there is no object called happy object. Is there any? You tell me. We have got pot, we have got some sweet, we have got a vessel, we have got a clip, we have got a book, we have got table. Similarly, there is one object called happy. There is no object. But Swamiji, there is one happy hour. Happy hour is there. I tell you, Puja Swamiji also used to talk about that. He said that happy hour is unhappy hour for family members. Because this fellow will go in that happy hours. Those who know happy hours, what is happy hours? I think most of them will be knowing. I know them, people will be definitely knowing. So, in that happy hour, this fellow goes and spends so much money, so it is unhappy hours for people. But there is no thing called happy. And so this Karma Yogi, because of his purity of mind, he discovers this. And that is called Moha Kalilam Buddhihi Vyatitarishyati. And Tada Gantasi Nirvedam. Then he attains the Vairagyam. So Buddhihi Moha Kalilam Vyatitarishyati is indicating Viveka. So person has got the clear understanding that no object can make me happy, no object can really make me happy. It depends upon how I look upon the object. And because of this Viveka, Gantasi Nirvedam, Bhagavan says you will attain Vairagyam. Vairagyam means, in English we call it dispassion. Dispassion does not mean hatred. People say, Swamiji, he has got Vairagyam. So when he was given money, he just threw away. People describe, Swamiji, that Swamiji knows, if you go and give money, he will throw away. If he goes give some very expensive thing also, he will throw away. This is not Vairagyam. Vairagyam means healthy outlook towards every object, every person, every situation. Healthy attitude, healthy outlook. What is a healthy outlook? These objects cannot make me happy. These objects are not designed to make me fulfilled. They make me happy because I have superimposed some value. You tell me one thing in the world which makes everybody happy. Is there anything? Tell me one thing. Swamiji, money makes everybody happy. No, there are people who gives up money also. If you there are one person, some country, he threw away money in garbage. One person threw money from the first, second, some fifth floor or something. People started collecting. So if money is giving happiness, then you should not throw away. So money is, or anything for that matter, money or any person, there is tell me one person who is the source of happiness for everybody. Tell me one person. Have you seen anybody? Swamiji, in his presence, her presence, everybody is happy. There is no person. Even Bhagavan Ramachandra was not that. Bhagavan Krishna was not that. Bhagavan Krishna also, in his presence, many people were uncomfortable. Therefore, there is no person or object. And therefore, I look upon the objects objectively. They have utility. So you see the utility, but you do not see this sense of fulfillment connected with the objects. You use the object. You use mobile, use computer, use your vessels, whatever chair, table, everything you use. But don't consider them to be the source of fulfillment, especially. That this thing or this person will make my life fulfilled. That is my delusion. That becoming free from that and seeing things, seeing the objects as they are, that is called Vairagyam. That dispassion he has. And dispassion towards what? Shrotavyasya Shrutasya cha. People have got this passion for two types of things. The passion for something he or she has already experienced. Like you had experienced some dish, eatable, and now you want to have it again. Have it again, have it again. That is called Shrutasya. Means the liking for this something you have experienced. Whereas this person have got dispassion towards all the things he has experienced. Some people have got liking for something he has not experienced. He said, Swamiji, India I have seen all places. I am not interested. I am dispassionate towards all places in India. Shrotavya, Switzerland, Swamiji. So Shrotavya, which I have not experienced. Whereas this Karma Yogi has got dispassion towards the things experienced and things which are not experienced. We have heard but not experienced. So some people always look forward to something. Oh, what will that? I'll go. It will be very good, great, exciting and all. Or some people hold on to the past things. Swamiji, I want to have that back. That particular setup I had, it was so nice. I am missing it. So some people are missing people. They miss the past. Some people are always, anxious to have particular future. So anxious to have future, that also is not there, Shrotavya, and they are not missing Shrutasya cha. So Nirvedam, dispassion towards what all has been experienced and dispassion towards what all to be experienced. So person may think, Swamiji, this person will be a very bore. Means he is not having any passion towards what is experienced, no passion towards what is to be experienced. No, he is committed to something higher, and that pursuit of this self-knowledge which he is engaged in, it is so fulfilling to him, he doesn't miss anything. He doesn't look forward to any place that, oh, Swamiji, for so many months I have not travelled anything, so I should travel. Nothing wrong in travelling. Please travel. But travelling I have not done for 1 year because of COVID. Then Swamiji, I am feeling so depressed. And therefore they coined a word, revenge travelling. Have you heard this word, revenge travelling? What a word. When I heard first time, I said, oh my God, revenge on whom? Revenge on oneself, So revengeful travelling means I could not travel for this 1 year, 2 years. And so people feel so depressed. And they say that when this lockdown was relaxed, then so much rush was there in every place. Small tourist place is full. Our ashram was getting full. Many people started visiting. Earlier, very few, but for some period it happened. And that is not there. He may go to places. This person who has got Vairagyam may go to the places, but he doesn't miss if he doesn't go. That is called Vairagyam. When things are there, you utilize them, but you do not miss them when they go away. Or you do not feel something is missing if they don't come. So it means you are Raja. You are the master of the situation. Jako kachu na chahiye, soi saham saha. In Hindi, very nicely said. One who doesn't have dependence upon anyone, he is the king. We generally think the king is the one who has got everything. No, real king is the one who doesn't need anything. He is not afraid of anything, but he doesn't have craving for anything. And that is called here Gantasi Nirvedam Shrotavyasya Shrutasya cha. So in this shloka, what is said? When a person follows the life of Karma Yoga, he becomes free from the subjective value of objects, people and situation. And because of that, person will have Vairagyam, healthy attitude towards everything. And that Vairagyam will lead to further growth in his life. That is said in the next shloka. Shruti Vipratipannate Yada Sthasyati Nischala Samadhavachala Buddhihi Tada Yogamavapsyasi. So more and more Viveka has come to this person, more and more Vairagyam has come to the person, and naturally person has got now time and mind for this spiritual inquiry, and therefore he will be going to the Shastra, studying Shastra, and finally he will attain this abiding wisdom. That is said in this shloka. And the previous shloka, what was said, Tadagantasi Nirvedam, is restated here. Shruti Vipratipannate Yada Sthasyati Nischala Buddhihi. Your buddhi, te buddhihi, your buddhihi, sthasyati, will remain. What type of buddhi it was? Shruti Vipratipanna. Vipratipanna means confused. The buddhi which was confused by listening to different means and ends. You will hear that there is a beautiful country and you can go by flight, and then you have to travel little bit by car, then little bit you have to walk. But it's a very beautiful country. So that is called Shruti. Listening to about the means and ends. And somebody says, if you do this business in this manner, then you will get lot of money. And nowadays you keep on getting that if you invest in our company or you work with us, you will get this much money, you will get that much benefit. So people get really carried away. Nowadays it is happening more and more. People are getting cheated on internet. They will say that we'll give you free this particular item free. You just send your bank details. That's all. We'll give you. We have to process the whole thing, or you have to pay some tax on that item. For tax, you have to do bank transaction. You send the bank transaction details. That's all. That item they are giving free, maybe some 5,000, 10,000, and from your bank account, some few lakhs will go away. That's happening. Why it happens? Because people get carried away. Shruti Vipratipanna. They confused. They do not see the things through and through. One person, he was in the course, and he told Swamiji, I have no worry about earning money. You know why? Swamiji, I have got one offer. And in that offer, they will pay me every month some 25-30,000. What I have to do? I have to just go to some YouTube channel and put like. That's all. I have to see the advertisement and just like. That much I have to do. And for that, they will pay me some thousands of rupees. I said, this is too good to be true. He said, no, Swamiji, it happened, Swamiji, I got, and now I am subscribing for my sister also, mother also, father also. Only thing, initially we have to pay some 25-30,000. And after a few months he told me, Swamiji, you are right. The whole money went away. First month something came, and afterwards everything went away. Shruti Vipratipanna, people get carried away by so many such things. This is a local Shruti. You hear nowadays so many advertisement. In fact, nowadays anything you read or something, advertisement is there. And advertisement is very attractive advertisement. And therefore people get carried away. This is local. And our Shastra, Karma Kanda is full of this. That if you do this ritual, you will go to heaven. If you do this ritual, you will get the splendor on this shining on your face. Brahma Varchas will come. If you do this, then you will have so much power of your sense organs. You get carried away and you remain busy with that. Whereas this Karma Yoga makes the person's buddhi free from this type of attraction, this type of getting carried away. And sthasyati will abide. Where? Samadho. Committed to the self. This buddhi, sthasyati, will remain nishala. Nishala means unwavering samadho to the self. Here samadhi has got very peculiar meaning. Samadhi means self. Generally samadhi means meditation, contemplation, that is called samadhi. Here samadho buddhihi sthasyati. The buddhi of the person, the intellect of the person will abide, will be committed to the self. Remaining free from all confusion born of listening to so many advertisements. And being committed to buddhi, committed to the self means the person will be committed to the self-knowledge. And slowly, achala bhavishyati, achala sthasyati. Achala means it will be free from all doubts and error. So in the pursuit of knowledge, there are three stages. One is listening to Vedanta, which will make the person free from the ignorance of the vision about oneself. Second is sadhana, is called mananam, which will make the person free from doubts. And third is nididhyasanam, which will make the person free from habitual error. So here, by saying that buddhihi samadho nishala achala sthasyati, what is suggested? The person will become free from the doubts and habitual error. And then what will happen? Tada yogam avapsyasi. Then you will attain. In fact, Bhagavan is using the second person. In this shloka, hey Arjuna, you will attain yoga. Here yoga has got the meaning abiding wisdom. The wisdom which does not go away. Wisdom which is very firm. Wisdom which is having clarity. So the wisdom with clarity and firmness is called here yoga. Why is it called yoga? Yoga phalatvat yoga. Karma yoga, upasana yoga, jnana yoga, all the yogas have got the result in this abiding wisdom. Therefore this is called yoga. Paramartha darshana lakshana yoga. The yoga in the form of this abiding vision about myself being limitless reality. Thus, Karma Yoga finally leads the person to this abiding wisdom, which is the means for moksha. So with this, the Bhagavan's side teaching is over. Bhagavan has told what is to be told. And what Bhagavan said? First, Bhagavan gave the knowledge of oneself, which is the final means for freedom. And that Jnana Yoga will be possible only when a person is prepared. And for preparation, the Karma Yoga was talked about. So the message Bhagavan gave is, Arjuna, by Karma Yoga you prepare yourself. and follow this Dana Yoga, do the sadhana of Dana Yoga in the form of Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam, and then you will get Dhanam, and that Dhanam gives you freedom. Means Dhanam will make you own up your freedom. So Bhagavan gave the complete teaching. In fact, that is the style of our traditional teacher. Every time they will make this teaching complete. That's why it is a Purna Vidya. It is a Purnasya Vidya and Purna Chaso Vidya. It is the Vidya of Purnam, the limitless reality, and Vidya by itself, in its presentation, it is Purna. So every time when the teacher gives the teaching, it will make it he or she will make it complete. So Bhagavan also made it complete. So from his side, the teaching is over. Because Bhagavan knew that this teaching is given in the battlefield. And therefore he wanted from his side, he wanted to give only this much. Because for this 53 shlokas, from 11 to 53, is about 44 shloka. So 44 shloka, the content he must have spoken in 10 minutes or something. And therefore 10 minutes, definitely this war can wait. So Bhagavan completed. But now Arjuna had a question. And since he had a question, therefore Bhagavad Gita continued. If Arjuna kept quiet, then our shloka only 53 shloka, then Purnamada Purnamidam. But anyway, we will make it Purnamada now. And we will listen to the question in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.